Growth therapy. Testing. Test your mic.
Yeah. I have some friends who are trying to get me into sex coaching or dating coaching or whatever.
Why don't you?
I'm very.
I feel like that's a whole.
I'm warming up hard to that because the money. I could have 3 clients and be good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like low income. Look at me. Like, I don't need to make much money, but like, I could have like very few clients and be like in a stable spot. So I'm warming up to that. There's a big sex coach YouTuber who is she's pushing me, and I'm gonna come back out here in September.
I feel like you'd be great at that.
I think so too. Yeah. I think about the opening scene of Hitch when like the guy with all that money and he's like turning it down. Like that's kind of like me. I'm like, I don't want to teach bad dudes magic tricks.
Right. You don't
want to get pussy they don't deserve.
Right. Exactly.
I want to teach them how to deserve it. Also, I'm cool with that.
I've been like at a bar once where it was clearly like someone's lesson on the field. They were, you know what I mean?
He was doing his homework.
They were like, he was coaching him through it. And I was with my like friend, and he like comes up to us, and you could tell it was just like, hey, you know, what are you drinking? And it was just like this awkward thing. It's like I felt that he was like being coached, and,
right?
You know, and
he's not thinking even about like what it's like to receive that. It's like a stranger just came up to me and asked what I'm drinking. Not an introduction. There's nothing that we're connecting on. Like if I talk to a woman at a bar, it's at least going to be because there was something we're kind of sharing or that I can comment on. Like I remember there was a woman I dated like a couple years ago for a beat where I was at a bar. And I overheard her, she was next to me, and she's talking to the bartender about being a stripper. She's like, oh, I just moved here from Denver. I was a stripper. And so now I do sex work and like how she's escorting. Well, I can speak on sex work. Right, I can talk about that.
Right, yeah.
And so I think at one point I made some sort of comment that connected us to, that gives her an out if she doesn't fucking want to talk to me. And that might intrigue her if she does. And then we end up staying out till like 5 a.m, shooting pool, drinking, and making out. Like,
oh
great.
My God, aw.
We dated for like 6 months.
Oh, where is she now?
Still in New York, just not dating me.
Just not dating you.
She stopped. She lost interest, and she lived like 15-minute walk away from me, and she was like looking
my God,
for.
That's so New York.
Very close, but she was looking for a place because she was overpaying. So I saw on Twitter a different comedian who lived 2 blocks from me was moving and looking for someone to fill it in. So I found her this apartment even closer to me. Yeah, I was like, perfect. And then like shortly after that, she's like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to fuck you anymore. So I'm like, all right. But I was like, damn, like I found you a closer place to make this work, and then and it didn't work. Well, anyways, let's do introductions. Oh, sorry. Was that on? Was that?
No, it was. I like it. A really candid beginning where people just jump into like as if they just walked into the room. Like that's what I want people to feel like.
Yeah,
so.
me too. I mean, sometimes people will do like 10 minutes. They're like, are we recording? I'm like, yeah, the whole time.
You're like, the whole time. I relate. Okay. Hi, guys. It is me, Stefanie Maegan, your host of Growth Therapy. And guess what? We got a man whore in the building. His name is Billy.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Did you like my little New York accent? I added that. Man whore. It was a whore. Whore.
Yeah.
And you're from New York, which I love, and I'm from LA, so this is like New York versus LA right now.
This is a cultural exchange.
This literally is a cultural exchange. And also we have like so much in common as far as having a podcast, talking about sex, and you, because everyone knows I've had this podcast since 2016. However, you beat me. And you've had your podcast, Manwhore, since 2014.
Yeah, I launched the Manwhore Podcast April of 2014 and just celebrated 500 episodes in 10 years.
That's crazy. Yeah. Did you ever take a break?
Nope, never missed a Wednesday.
Never missed a Wednesday since 2014.
Sometimes it comes out a little later in the day, but like it's coming out that day.
Wow, that's better than me actually, because I've taken breaks. But I mean, I haven't been nonstop since like 2 years now. Mm-hmm. But before I would take so many breaks.
I don't know how I don't know if it's an OCD or whatever, but I just knew like I need to get it out every Wednesday. And also I really love having these conversations. So I don't want to skip a week, you know? Yeah. If I know I got some shit going on, I'll just like, okay, I'll edit and I'll upload it in advance. You know, the episode that came out this week, I uploaded it 2 weeks ago because I wanted to enjoy my visit out here in LA. But yeah,
no, I love that because it's like I'm around like a lot of people who've started a podcast, but I've always felt like I was the older one, so it's nice to have like someone who just like feels just as passionate as me, and it's just like I just like putting it out, so I'm just gonna put it out. Like it feels nice. Okay, I feel very like at home.
I mean, look, Mark Maron puts out he's been putting out 2 a week every week for like 15 years. So
are we okay long. Like because I'm tired.
I'm very tired.
Okay, because like this is exhausting.
Yes,
like think about it, like to have to put out an episode to talk about something. Why did we choose this? Why did you choose this? I mean, how did we get here?
Well, the origin of my podcast was I started interviewing women I hooked up with about sex, dating, and why we didn't work out.
Me too.
Wait, really? Wait,
yes.
Did we talk about this? No,
probably. I think we did. I'm sure we did.
I forgot that part.
I was on your podcast like a year ago. Yeah. I mean, we've done millions of episodes since then, but like not together, but
Yeah. But yeah, no, I interviewed exes at first because I had this weird problem where women would sleep in college and early 20s. Women would sleep with me, but they wouldn't date me.
Are you just the white male New York version of me? Are you my Carrie Bradshaw?
Well, like I think that's why I had like such a passionate early female audience, because there was this guy talking about having an issue that a lot of women complain about. The guy wants, traditionally, it's the guy who wants to get it in and the woman wants to seek the relationship. And for me, it was reversed because, like, yeah, I like sex, but I love love and cuddles and, and romance.
What's your sign? We're in LA.
Gemini. I have a lot of placements in Gemini and Cancer.
Okay. Oh, cute.
My girl loves doing the chart.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, what woman doesn't like to do a chart?
It's a very LA thing. We went to hang out last night with a YouTuber friend of mine, and on the walk back from the place, they were both just talking astrology stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to hold her hand.
Like, I honestly don't really know, but I like to ask and like pretend. Like, I could totally see it. Yeah. But then I'm like, whatever. But continue.
Yeah. So I had this problem where like I wanted a relationship, but women just wanted to keep it super casual. Anytime I say, oh, you want to like become boyfriend girlfriend, and they say, oh, let's just keep it casual. But I think traditionally when somebody asks for like more in a relationship and the other one doesn't, usually they just kind of end it. But in this, they were like, no, keep your emotions to yourself, but you still need to come over and do that thing with your tongue I like. So sex is fun and all, but I eventually, when it happened for the umpteenth time, I said, like, let's figure out why. So I started interviewing, having these women on. And honestly, which is partially why I don't have video content. I didn't start doing video because, look, if I fucked me, I wouldn't want to know. I wouldn't want people to know either. Right?
What?
So like it allows them to stay anonymous.
Right. There's like anonymity to it.
Yeah, I'd have to have like invested in the whole like black silhouette voice change modulation if I had done like video clips.
No, you should just show yourself and be proud.
Be proud you sat on my face.
Yeah. Who cares? But wait, like that, again, it's like we've had the same life, but like in different parts of the world and like different experiences, but the same. And so why did you realize, like, all this time you've done this show, I'm sure at this point you probably have come to some sort of like idea and conclusion to why they wouldn't stay. Like, do you know where that it like stems from?
Well, it really ended up
therapy.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. Broke girl therapy, where in the corner it says, I wrote, "We'll suck fake dick for you any time." Yes.
You wrote that?
That's me.
That's hilarious. Because my friend was over last night and was like, "Who wrote that?" And I was like, I have no idea.
That was me.
But that was you.
I still have that dildo.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
It's not a bad size.
It's a good size.
It's not bad. Suction cup. I was like, ooh, this is new. Okay. Hadn't done that before.
Okay, that's great. That was you, because I was wondering, but anyways, continue. Back to therapy.
There was no one singular reason. And I think a lot of people want something simple, like here's the 2 or 3 things you need to fix, and then you're good.
Right.
But that's not life. That's not reality. So it was just, I got some closure on some of those. And some of these women would tell me why they didn't want to escalate the relationship or whatever, or why things ended. But it wasn't like, I did learn I am frustrating to argue with. That's fair. I am a little argumentative. It's frustrating to argue with someone who's right. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I was right.
Yeah, and with women that don't work.
I would imagine
you have to be able to admit that you're wrong.
No, I admit when I'm wrong. I'm just infrequently wrong.
Yeah.
That's the hack is don't argue when you're wrong. You'll win more arguments.
Right.
When I'm wrong, I'm like, you know what? You're right. Please explain it to me. But
but even when you're right, you have to be wrong though. You have some capacity to understand why you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If they're upset, you know?
There was definitely a lot of that at play. Yeah, so I did get that feedback. I was a little condescending to younger partners, I found out. Okay.
Oh, really?
But how do you not condescend to a 22-year-old? Let's be honest.
Yeah,
okay.
no, if a 22 came my way, just even through the room, I'd be like, oh, 22-year-old, you know?
Yeah, but I'm such a dick. I'd be like 25 and I'd be condescending to the 22-year-old. Like I know how the world works.
Right. I mean, 25 is young.
Yeah.
You don't realize. Wait, how old are you?
I'm 35 now.
Okay, 33. So
unless any industry's watching.
Right.
Then I'm 29 and I look terrible.
And I'm 27.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like I could pass for 27. But okay, so it's because you just don't like to argue and shit?
No, again, it wasn't like a singular reason. I mean, there's a lot of stuff like to work on. Therapy is a good thing to go to.
Right.
But, I think I early on found out it wasn't like, oh, here's the reason. It's just there are reasons for every individual situation.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. I got some closure, and then I started talking to like, comedians and porn stars, dating experts. I had on a senator one time.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Drag queens, all that stuff. And it's been pretty fun.
Nice. And so let's talk about a hoe phase.
Okay.
So
I think that's just my life.
Literally like your podcast is called Manwhore. So how should hoe
Which, by the way, terrible marketing decision because terrible. Because
it's great, but
well, because here's the problem with it. The reason it's called Manwhore Podcast is because some of the women in my early 20s, look, you asked me a question about my dating history when we're dating, I'm going to answer it. I didn't know I was supposed to lie about body counts or some bullshit, right?
Yeah.
So someone would say something like, oh, would you ever do group sex? I'd be like, oh yeah, I went to a few gangbangs off Craigslist. Or like, oh my God, happy ending massages, right? I'd be like, yeah, they're really nice. They're like, it's actually not that much more expensive than a normal massage.
You're just like so honest and open about it, yeah.
Right. So because I had a lot of interesting sexual experiences. I went to college at NYU, so there was like Craigslist was really active out there. You could do a lot of interesting things. So I webcammed in college.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So a lot of women would go, "Oh my God, you're such a man whore," and sincerely, I was worried. Was I too slutty to be loved?
I thought about that too.
That's part of why the podcast. So that's part of why I wanted to talk to these women, because I thought, am I not being taken seriously because I had too much fun sex? And then I would learn a little bit more about non-monogamy. I would learn like that kind of language. I would meet more people who were like me. I would meet the women who were like, no, you're just really fun. And I'm like, okay, cool. And yeah. So
when did you start being like a man whore?
I mean,
in the best way, not even,
Well, again, when it comes to that title, it's like, I'm not like, it's called the Manwhore Podcast. I'm not like the man whore. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's like, I'm Billy Procida. I host the Manwhore Podcast.
Okay.
Like I call it that because women used it in this way to almost like say, this is why I can't date you. So it's a little bit of a like, there's a backstory to the title, but I forgot that no one in this country likes nuance anymore.
Oh, that's how I feel about broke therapy, because people are like, oh my God, you're broke and so poor. And I'm like, one, when I started, yes, there was some financial like struggles. Two, it's like you're broken. It's kind of a play on it because therapy's too expensive. Plus, like, there's nuance to it. Like you're broken. I'm trying to get heartbreaking. That's why I'm crying in all my photos. Like, you know what I mean? Therapy's too expensive. It's like a play on it against nuance. It's not. I'm not saying like I am. And
the subtitle was always a sex positive quest for love. I feel like no one ever got to the subtitle. So the problem with the title is like that I only find out 10 years later is if you hate the title, you actually might really like the show. Because the reason you hate the title is you think, oh, it's this braggadocious fuck boy talking about all the chicks he finger banged. And we do talk a little bit about fingering technique. That happens. But it's not this like show of like, it's not a show for bro. It's not bitches I banged with Billy Procida.
Right.
But so it gives some people
Bitches
the wrong.
I Bang by Billy Procida.
It's a great title for like an Andrew Tate podcast.
Right, I was gonna say,
That's not what I do.
But you're kind of owning it. It's almost like the slut walk for like Amber Rose, right?
Sure.
Where it's like people are like called her all these things, but she's kind of just owning it and being like, well, it's not what you think it is, type of thing.
It's not us.
We're redefining it.
Yeah, we're not strutting our stuff to attract people. Like we're going out, we're owning the night, all that. And so the Manwhore Podcast, like again, the title it stands out in a list, but it maybe doesn't always convey the sex positive conversations that I host.
Right.
Oops. I've literally last night I was going to bed like, should I change the name? Should I like?
No, I think.
What if I just title it "Sincere, Honest, Sex Positive Conversations"? Will that get people to get the idea?
Right. We're like, yeah, no.
Good SEO,
I like
terrible marketing.
It makes you like it stands out, obviously, and I think it's good to stand out.
Well, it makes people rethink, like when they hear slut, whore, man whore, whatever. It's like these aren't necessarily negative terms, and it's not exactly what you think it is.
Right.
So it's what.
Yeah. So you said you were like, you've done a lot of group sex and all that stuff. Like, when did that like sexual escapades and all that stuff start happening?
Sophomore year of college. Freshman year, I was in a relationship. Most of that year it was monogamous. With someone who went to school up in Boston, and I was down in New York, and then we broke up right before starting sophomore year. Everything was fine. It was just kind of, we both agreed, hey, we should like enjoy college. So
right,
I love you, but this is sad. And then I drove to move into my sophomore dorm full tears.
Oh, it's like a movie.
Very much so.
Yeah.
We actually almost broke up over a movie once.
What movie?
Definitely Maybe. Starring Ryan Reynolds, Derek Luke, baby Abigail Breslin, Elizabeth Banks.
Why? Why Definitely Maybe?
So Definitely Maybe was kind of very much part of my early polyamorous awakening.
Okay.
So I remember seeing at the back of the New York Post, like a back of the pages, there was like a small little square, probably was like a 200-word item, if that. And it had the word polyamory, and it technically said what it is. I don't even remember what the article was about. Maybe it was a study. I don't know. And I go, oh, that's interesting. Tucked in the back of the head. Didn't think about it. I go up to Cambridge where she was in school, and we go to see Definitely Maybe in theaters. And if you haven't seen it, the Ryan Reynolds character is telling his daughter how he met his mother. So we can see who all the different characters are, but technically, his daughter doesn't. And so he's telling the story of these three women who were important in his life. One of them is her mom. And he's clearly in love with all three of these women, which answers the question, well, can you be in love with more than one person over the course of a lifetime? Or is it like only one love type of thing? Okay.
Right.
But all of them, they all tend to overlap just a little bit here and there, like throughout the story. It's like here, but then this one kind of enters, and then this one moved away, and right? So it all overlaps a little bit. And I think, oh, seems like you could be in love with more than one person at the same time. We're in the cab going back to our dorm room afterwards. I am not proposing opening the relationship. I am not. I'm just.
And how old were you at this time?
She's 19. I'm 18.
Okay. So yeah.
Yeah, freshman year. I'm not proposing anything. I simply was observing. Interesting. He's kind of more, it seems like one could be in love with more than one person over the course of life. And my ex, she starts bawling in this cab. She's freaking out. She's not like yelling at me. She's not being like me. She's like clearly panicking over me even thinking that this could be a thing, which proves how fragile monogamy culture is, right? That I can't even have a philosophical thought about how relationships work without being a threat to our relationship, when I said nothing about the relationship. We luckily by the end of the cab ride, I calmed everything down. I was like, no, babe, I love you. It's just us. No worries. But it did tuck in my head again. Right. Like that little news item. And then, it would be many years until I get my hands on a copy of The Ethical Slut. But that was a very early part of my poly journey, was that movie.
That's crazy. So you consider yourself still poly?
Non-monogamous, poly. I can't get one woman to stick around for 2 years, so I don't like focus on getting a bunch of girlfriends. Right, but I am non-monogamous for certain.
So you're in a relationship right now. Can we talk about it?
It's new.
It's new.
It's new.
Sorry,
very new.
Not to put a label on it.
Yeah. No, because there is no label on it.
Yeah, you're dating. You're getting to know each other,
but
it's feelings.
It's long distance, which is why I'm so being cautious, because it's long distance like forces you to slow down like the escalator or the progression.
I love a long distance in the beginning of a relationship, so I'm all for this.
I would love if she was in New York, but I also really like her,
right? But I think so. With me and Brian, I know y'all have learned the story a million times, but like being long distance really tested our communication. You know,
how long into it until y'all made it like quote unquote official though?
About like 6 months.
Okay. So then I feel fine because it's been about 4-ish, 3 or 4 months with us. And this has been this is my second visit.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like, by the time like 6 months, it was probably around like 2, maybe 3 visits.
Right.
And like they're long visits, y'all. Right. Like they're like a week, 2 weeks. Like
you have to fight yourself to not feel like you're on vacation.
Right. Yeah.
Like we both have had to like do work, and we have to make sure we like go off and do work during the week. But yeah. So, okay, this makes me feel better because I was nervous. Like, am I being arbitrary about like want to go slow here? Because again, this is the second visit.
It's good.
The third will be next month. She's coming back out to New York, wants me to meet mom.
Yeah.
And it's only been a few months, but I like the Zoom dates.
Zoom. I just do FaceTime.
Or FaceTime. Sorry, FaceTime dates.
Yeah,
doing FaceTime dates. Zoom dates.
Like that's very for corporate.
Yes.
Like put it in the calendar.
I mean, you are wearing the jacket.
I know. I was like, well, I got inspired by Pinterest. Okay.
Okay.
So
I got inspired by my dad. This is literally his shirt.
It's literally his shirt.
Yes.
So funny.
So yeah, no, it's fresh. It's new. It's long distance. It's going well. I am quite smitten, I will say.
Aww,
yes. I'm into her. We have a lot of overlaps. I am learning the ways we are also very different, which is interesting. And I don't know. I like her. What do you want to know?
You're like, what do you want to know?
I
mean, since you've like, maybe it might be too early to even know, but like since you've always dabbled in like the non-monogamy world, like, do you see that for your guys' relationship?
So she is also of the non-monogamous.
Oh, perfect.
Mindset.
Okay, cool.
I would not have.
You wouldn't date someone who's monogamous.
Oh yeah, well I couldn't. It's like unless they're
interested.
Unless they're monogamous and say I don't mind if you do things, but I'm not gonna go do things.
Right. Okay.
But at that point, the relationship is still not monogamous.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what me and Brian. I mean, we're open. But
you're allowed to if you want to, I would imagine.
Yeah.
You just don't indulge.
I'm just not in a mood.
That's fine.
I don't feel like entertaining.
But you know that if you're in the mood, you could.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, non-monogamy has so much more to do with just like the freedom to explore fun connections or interesting
It's like the
connections.
option is there.
Yeah.
The conversations. You know what I love about, because I'm so new to this world, but what I love about doing it with my boyfriend is just the hypothetical situations or possible situations that you put yourself into and you would like, what would you do? You know, because these are situations that are so taboo. Because again, like you said, like the monogamy world, although I'm not shaming anyone who's monogamous because everyone has a choice, could be very fragile sometimes.
Yeah.
And so people get really scared of like, what if this happens and I can never. And it feels so like freeing to talk about, even just have discussions of like hooking up with someone else. It's like, ooh, but it's cool to do it together. I don't know. It brings me and my boyfriend together in a way.
I bet. I wonder if does it feel nice to know, like if you're out at a bar with some friends and there is a cute guy, whether or not you go talk to him, it's nice to know I could go talk to him.
I could talk to him. I could even look at him and not even feel guilty. Because I've been in relationships where it's like, oh, you turn your head when that man walks by, like, what's going on?
Which is wild because that's not the rule. The rule isn't you can't look at other guys. The rule is I can't kiss or do things physically with other guys. So what does it matter if you look at other guys? That
guy was just controlling. That was just abusive.
No, right. But that's very there's a lot of people who are in monogamy. There's a lot of people who feel that way.
Right.
Because it's as if they want to pretend, oh, you only have eyes for me. No, I don't. None of you do. Not anyone who says I've never looked at anyone and thought they were attractive is a fucking liar.
Lies.
You can say I've looked at other people and obviously not done. Obviously, yeah. I
recognize a good-looking fucking woman or man crossing your way. Okay, well, it's all about what you do about it that matters.
Outside of the tiny little sliver of the aces and exceptions to the rules, like generally, like, yeah, if you're monogamous, doesn't mean you're not attracted to other people. It means you choose to not pursue it. And that's fine and valid, but let's not pretend it's anything that's not. Yeah. So I'm all about like kind of the freedom to explore those connections.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. So you guys are willing to eventually open up? Like, what is that?
I mean, it was not. What do you mean eventually open up? It's like
oh, it is. Oh, so
yeah,
like if you hooked up with somebody, it's not like a big deal already. Like, what's
I got a regular Saturday divorced MILF that I see in New York.
Oh, okay. So it's open, or it's okay.
Yeah, I hook up with. I have a sexual partner in New York where like we hook up generally on Saturdays because that's the day she doesn't have her kids. So like I go up and I give her mommy time and
yeah. And so how do you like communicate that with homegirl? You're gonna
LA lady?
Yeah, LA lady.
Yeah, we're still working on the nickname.
Okay. We'll call her LA lady.
That's the thing about podcasts. Is like you gotta figure, like, if they don't want you to give the name out, that's fine. But then I gotta figure out, what do I call you? Like my last ex, her name's Wallet Note Lady.
Wallet Note?
Because she would leave me really sweet notes, post-it notes in my wallet.
That's cute.
Very, yeah. She'd make me cry in a liquor store because I go to pay and I'd be like, oh my God, she loves me. And then they'd be like, so you're going to buy this whiskey? Or
right,
what?
Exactly.
Why are you crying? You're not drunk yet. Come on. So no, LA lady's cool and chill. I think they're, I don't want to get into like her stuff too much, but yes, it is I can pursue what I want to pursue in New York, and she can do things in LA, and I certainly don't mind. And,
how do you handle jealousy?
I have not typically felt a lot of jealousy.
Okay.
For me, jealousy is an emotion to examine of like, jealousy, I don't like anger. I don't think is its own emotion. I think it's caused by another emotion.
Right.
So it's like, okay, well, why am I feeling jealous? Am I feeling insecure about my body? Am I feeling disconnected from my partner? Is somebody else offering her something that I can't? I could feel jealous simply that she's with somebody else in LA just because I can't be in LA in that moment. Mm. And there's if she was in New York and she hooks up with somebody, I go, it's fine. I'm going to see her on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Whereas then I'm like, oh God, it's not like, oh, I'm upset she's hooking up with. It's more like,
oh, I wanted to see you.
I want to see you, and I have to wait 6 weeks.
Yeah. Oh.
So that it's, but when I do feel jealousy, I don't make it their problem right away. Sometimes I never make it. I've sometimes felt jealous, and they never find out about it because it was something I was able to work through on my own. And sometimes it's something I eventually, after working through it and examining, have to discuss with them. But yeah, I try to identify what's that underlying emotion, and is there like a solution to that? Is there something I can comfort myself with? And then sometimes if I think there are questions left unanswered, I may bring them to them. But it's not something that happens for me very much. I more often have had to deal with a partner's jealousy.
I was going to say, like, you could manage yours, but when someone else is jealous, like, how do you navigate that?
It's tough. It's tough if they don't have experience with non-monogamy. My last ex-girlfriend, I met her a week after she left her husband of 10 years. So she had like zero experience dating, let alone openly. And then that was part of the downfall of that relationship. And this one, she is getting out of a marriage, but she always had wanted to be. And that's I'll leave it kind of there, but just I wouldn't be open to this romantically if she had recently thought, "Ooh, I want to try that."
Yeah.
No, she kind of always wanted that and just was prevented from indulging in it. So that made me more comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, no, if someone's feeling jealous and they're expressing it to me, I just I try to ask them about like, what's the underlying emotion? Like, why do you think you're feeling jealous?
Yeah.
Is there something I can do, or is there something I should be doing? Oftentimes I think people want to make rules in non-monogamy to like avoid having to engage with their emotions. They're like, oh, if I can make these like magic set of rules, then I'll never feel bad, which is not real. And it's kind of imposing on the other person. Like let's say somebody said, hey.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what kind of rules? What kind of.
Let's say somebody said, I don't want you to have sleepovers with other people. Now, I
feel like that's our rule.
Sure, and that's fine to have that rule. Yeah. Me personally, I would be uncomfortable, and this is partially being a guy who hooks up with women. And I know a lot of people are looking at me like, how many women is he really fucking? His body type is orgy alternate. Like, how could he really? Come on. I know there's a lot of women in the world with terrible taste, and yeah.
No, you're a comedian who's like actually funny, so yeah, of course I would assume you would get women.
Oh gosh, me.
Oh gosh, me.
So
because really, it's never mind.
But some people's like, I don't want you. So for when I hook up, I don't do like a lot of one night stands. Like if I like having sex with someone, I enjoy their company.
It, yeah.
I want to continue that, and also a lot of women, I will find, will be more open the more. Like, I don't think casual sex should be like disrespectful sex. So like I'm very boyfriendy when I'm just fucking you. Like I'm caring. I give a shit. I want to hear about your day, and then I'm gonna put some fingers inside you, and then when then
go on with it.
Yeah, when you're done coming down my throat, then like I'll be like, okay, and what do you got planned later? Like I text you in the week, right?
Yeah.
So if someone said like, don't have a sleepover with someone else, they're kind of removing some intimacy options, and I like being intimate with my sexual partners. Now, it's not that I won't agree to that. I can agree to that rule, but I don't think I would agree to it as like a lifelong rule of, hey, just I want you to never have a sleepover and I'll be good.
Right.
If I know that they are willing to work on whatever a sleepover means to them and whatever that's bringing up in them, I could temporarily not have sleepovers. But like I'm not going to agree to a rule so that you don't have to do the work. But I will agree to something temporarily to like assist you in that, because we're a team, and I want us to both like help each other be the best versions of ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. So do you think like you just think that's for you, right? Because I feel like for me,
I think people can do whatever they want. The whole point of this is supposed to be
there's no rules.
The whole point's supposed to be we make whatever rules we want to make.
Yeah.
Just me personally, like I like having a sleepover. The Saturday divorcee got a hotel room one night because the kids were going to sleep at the dad's house for a change.
We love a hotel like sleepover.
Yeah, I was really excited because like, oh, now I don't have to like leave at 7:00 before your kids get home.
Right.
I can like spend the night with you. We can go have dinner. We can stay up watching Bridgerton, and this is great.
That's like very sweet, actually.
We can have some morning sex. Like this is awesome. I'm a sweetie. I don't know. That's how it.
But do those like, not want to call them situationships, or like, I don't know, whatever. Like
when I say friends with benefits, or when I say fuck buddy, like there's an emphasis on the buddy. There's an emphasis on the friends.
Do they ever like? Because it seems like now you're able to not have feelings for them. You could separate it. Do they ever now have feelings?
Well,
like, do you feel like the roles have reversed since like we first started this podcast and you were the one growing those type of feelings?
Oh, I still have feelings all over the fucking place.
Okay, but you just
allow it. That's part why I'm
it.
going slow with what I'm doing now with LA Lady. Excuse me. I am used to letting my emotions run amok, and like I go real hard, I go real deep, I go real fast real soon.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to, the distance is helpful. It forces me to slow down.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I do go real fucking fast. Because I like when I know I'm into someone, like I know I'm into someone. And this is forcing me to take a step back for like a few weeks at a time and go like, still into her? Really? Am I thinking about her for weeks on end? And am I thinking about her every day? Do I long to go see her again? Okay, cool. And it's forcing me to do that.
You don't shame yourself for like having those feelings.
No, but I even have feelings with like a casual, with a sexual partner. I like the term lover.
I love lover. Let's use lover.
Lover is a beautiful term.
Because I didn't know what to call it. I was like, I don't know what you define it, but lover is a good.
So like Saturday divorcee, like I have a lot of care for her. I talk to her during the week sometimes. I like her beyond the sex that we have.
Yeah.
And I frankly don't have a lot of sex with people I don't actually like. Like I couldn't fuck a Trump supporter. I could be attracted to one, but then when I find out that she is, then I lose my like my boner goes away.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, you don't have empathy for others. I don't. Okay, never mind.
Never mind. Yeah.
So I need to like you.
Yeah.
Even if it's just sex.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have
the
feelings.
Same way. Like I have to have, and I think that's why maybe like, and I could try to understand this here in this moment now or process it, but the reason why I feel like I haven't really like maybe try to entertain anyone else at this moment and like in our open relationship is, well, one, I'm just trying to take your time and try to get used to him going out, and I get turned on by that. But for me, it's like I feel like with him, he could just have like, okay, a little bit of friendship and then do the deed, whatever. But with me, it's like I have to have some sort of like for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe I'm a little scared to tap into that, if I'm going to be really honest. Like, I've never said that out loud because I have so much love for Brian and I want to be with him for the rest of my life. And I'm like open to the idea of like, I'm going to one day do it, I'm sure, but like hook up with someone else. Like, the sex is okay. But I know that in order for me to have sex with someone, I have to have like a connection, a care or love for them. And I think one day it'll happen, but right now I'm like not ready for that. And I think, I don't know how I'll ever get ready for that, but.
Well, not all feelings are made equal. You may like somebody, you just may not like them in the same way you love him.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And also, like, you can have a lot of like deep feelings for someone who, because what's the difference between like having like the deep feelings and sex and what you have with Brian is like there's prioritization and in a positive way, I say obligation.
Right.
Right. I think that's what kind of separates it. And it doesn't mean you don't have love for other people.
Yeah. I think I just don't want to like hurt his feelings.
Hurt his?
If I ever like even just crush on someone else.
I mean, have you said that to him?
Maybe not yet. Maybe when he's hearing this.
That might be a fear worth discussing.
Yeah, maybe that is a fear worth discussing. This is therapy right now.
He might validate it, or he might say, babe, like, I can handle that. Like, crushes are fun, and crushes are how you figure out who you want to fuck. Like,
for sure.
I would imagine, I hope that nice, sweet, gentle giant out there, I hope he wouldn't want you to only fuck people you dislike.
No,
right?
I mean,
like, I would imagine he wants you to have, if you indulge, to have positive sexual experiences.
Yeah, that's true.
And you can try to trust in that, but it sounds like a conversation worth having.
I think we kind of talked about it, but in a different format. Like, for instance,
not on a podcast.
Not on a podcast, yeah. It's just in a different format of a podcast. No, but because for me, like, I'm a cuck. Like, I love the idea, and I want to see him like hook up with someone else. Like, it turns me on when he like flirts with other women, like all that stuff. Like, it like literally, like, I'm getting turned on right now. You know, like
Steph.
it's like I love it. Like, so for him going out there, it's kind of easier for him because it's like something that turns me on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not something that even like, even if I do get jealous, the jealousy makes me horny.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird thing. But for him, when I go out, he doesn't have that kink.
Sure.
So it's almost like, you know, I think right now I'm just trying to master it one at a time. We're just trying to master the dynamic where he goes out first and like the communication.
Have you heard of the word? There. Have the twins taught you the word compersion?
You know what? I feel like we've talked about it, but
it's about when you feel good about them going off and having an experience or relationship with someone else.
Yeah.
And he again, I can't speak for him, but it's like he might experience compersion for you if you went off and did something, right, and go like, oh, I'm so glad. Again, like if when someone I'm seeing goes off and has fun, good sex, comes hard, was treated well, like I feel good about that. I'm like, oh, I'm glad my babe like got a good out of it. You know, if she said like, oh, like I'd feel more bad if she said, yeah, we hooked up, it wasn't so good. You know, I didn't come. He was fingering me too hard. He wasn't listening to the feedback when I gave it to him. I didn't really enjoy it. Whatever. He said some weird bro shit at me. Yeah, that's not fun. Yeah. I want her to have a good, because if we're gonna do this, we want to have a good time, and I want her to feel good when I have a good time, so I don't have to like feel guilty, which was kind of an issue with that last relationship. Is it was hard. I wasn't indulging very much. She thought I was always fucking. And again, look at me, right? You know, duh. But like, no, she like always thought, she would text me, be like, "Are you on a date? It's okay if you're on a date, but if you're on a date, can you let me know?" Because like, and it was like I wasn't on a date. I was in the park gambling. I was playing backgammon with Poe. You know, it's like.
You're like, I was not on a date.
Yeah, it's like I feel shameful because I'm gambling, but not because I'm on. Right? And it got to the point that like I didn't go seek out much sex. She had far more sex in that relationship than I did. And I was actually a little nervous too because I saw what happened every time she even thought I was. Right. Part of why that relationship couldn't work.
Yeah. I mean, he never even shows jealousy or ever like.
So maybe you could trust that. About that. Maybe you could trust that. Maybe you could talk to a man at a bar and just see how that went. Yeah.
Like, I know he trusts me because we definitely have really, really strong trust for each other. But you know, I've asked him, I'm like, okay, so if I decided to go out with a guy, like, would you get jealous? He's like, yeah, but I was like, I would just need to feel like extra validated.
Yeah. And
So.
he's good. And that, you may not even have to do anything extra. I mean, he could tell you, hey, in that situation, I might need some extra validation, and here's what that could look like. And you could put on your little notepad, like, here's 3 options I have when I get home from fucking somebody else that are going to, like, make my man
Give him
feel
a
great.
blowjob.
Yeah.
I feel like if I give him a blowjob, he'll be fine.
Yeah, that's pretty simple. And if that works, that's great.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
We'll see.
But like the validation to me, the reason why I don't think I feel jealous in a relationship where I feel secure, where I'm in love and I know they love me, and I don't think they're trying to like dip out on me just to level up. That gives me the security because I know she's coming home to me, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's why I don't get jealous as often, because I'm like, she's coming home to me.
Yeah.
And she still seems sexually satisfied, and she laughs at my jokes and like whatever. And
okay.
That's what helps me. It's if the relationship itself is fucked, then opening up is going to point out all the fucking cracks going on.
Right.
But if the relationship's pretty solid, then it can handle it. It's a good foundation. Think of a foundation of a building. If you lay a good foundation, it can handle all these extra stressors. If you lay shitty foundation, you're going to start seeing cracks in all these columns and everything. Yeah.
That's true. Okay. That's a great like refresher or like
I come
a
from
reminder.
A construction family.
Okay, I was going to say that was very specific, but it was a great
Procida Construction in the Bronx. How you doing?
Procida. That is such a very New York like Italian. Are you Italian?
Italian.
There you go.
Well, it should be pronounced Procida.
Procida?
Procida.
Like prosciutto?
No, like Procida. Like so we say Procida, but it's pronounced Procida. There's an island in Italy, Isla di Procida.
I love that.
Yeah. Beautiful name, and then we bastardized it.
We were like Procida.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Procida. I'm Billy Procida. Well, my dad's also Billy Procida. Hey, I'm Billy Procida Senior. I run a company. I've read 3 books my whole life. How you doing?
Oh my God, I love it.
That's my dad.
I love New York. Okay, that was very good because I feel like that for sure has always been. I don't want to say this.
You seem so scared to. It's loving to not want to hurt him, but you seem so scared to do it that you won't even.
It's not what's completely stopping me because it's really. I mean, sure. I really am just not in the mood to entertain anyone. Sure. But it's definitely a big. It is a factor and it is a thought because I'm just like. It's something that I know I'm going to have to face when I step into it. And it's like, I kind of just want to master this portion where he goes out first.
You seem to be mastering it. You're like, it gets me wet right now in front of you, Billy. Oh, yeah. In this room where we're by ourselves on camera. And I now have to sit here knowing you're sitting there wet, thinking about him with other women. You seem to got it down.
Oh, yeah. No, I got it down.
You're good.
Yeah. No, like even they went on a date like the other day or whatever, and I was just like, I felt no jealousy.
Yeah,
I was just like, I hope they fuck, but they didn't. They haven't fucked yet, but they've just been like very sexual, I guess.
You're like stuffing extra condoms in his
like,
pockets on the way
up.
out. Yeah.
I'm like, do I need to leave the apartment? Like, hurry up.
You're knocking on her window, being like, tickle his butthole.
Right.
Tickle his butthole.
Make a move. Yeah. So like they're doing it a little too slow for me, but I also get it too. They're trying to like, be comfortable with each other or whatever. But
you know what I tell people is sometimes I've told people like couples who've reached out, and I say there used to be or maybe there still is, there was a makeout party in New York, and the rules were you can't do more than like you can't do anything below the waist.
Right.
It's just makeout party.
Okay. Wait. I love a makeup party.
Yeah, I love making out. It's like my second favorite thing to do.
Oh, making out is the best. If I could just make out and that's it.
Big fan.
And just dry hump a little bit. Hello, 8th grade me is so excited for this.
Mm-hmm. Same. And so I would say like go to that and like make out with someone else. If they see you make out with someone else and they're like, whoa, no, that brought up a lot of feelings.
Yeah.
Cool. That means you probably shouldn't fuck somebody else, and this relationship shouldn't really open. Excuse me.
I know. And then I wonder if there's any makeout parties in LA. I'm sure there are, but I need to find my makeout sluts. And hello, anyone LA listening, invite me.
Yeah. But also like if they see you making out, but making out is such a lower level activity that like it shouldn't break up the relationship. Like if the relationship's good on it all, if the relationship is solid, it can handle somebody putting their tongue in someone's mouth for like a minute.
Right.
And if that was going to freak somebody out so hard that they want to break up, well then go get out of that. But otherwise it might just be like, oh, it tenses somebody up and you go, cool, can't do that. Or maybe they go, yeah, I think that was okay. And then you can like increment up a bit.
Yeah,
maybe
I think
it's
that's what we need. I think we need like small steps of exposure.
You just what you need to do is you need to make out with someone, tell him, you need the confirmation loop. You need to see that everything's okay afterwards. And you're okay, cool. Maybe I can Suck a dick. Maybe I can get my box ate, you know, whatever. I like how everything is just giving to the other man.
Right. Actually, no.
Steph, shove his fucking head down there. Make him gasp for air.
You're right.
Make him try to peel away the thighs, just trying to get that little bit of air in the nostrils.
Let's be realistic. I don't even really like giving head, so like that won't even. I'll give head to my boyfriend before I give head to anyone else.
Do you like getting head?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But like giving head, I'm like, I know. I'm just. It's not for me. I'll do it.
Yeah.
And like whatever, just not all the time. I'm just not that bitch that's always. That's why I'm like, I want him to find a girl who loves it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like her thing. You know what I mean? Because I need someone else to take over that job for me. You know what I mean?
If you ever had kids, like you'd be like, well, we need somebody who's gonna take care of the kids. We need some help with the babysitter.
Right.
We need I need a dick babysitter for your dick. Maybe it could be the same lady. I don't know.
Right? 2 for 1, all in house. Might as well, you know. But yeah. So that's why I like need to find something. So it'd probably be a hand job before.
Okay. Those are fine.
A little dry hump.
A good hand job's a good hand job.
Yeah.
I'm never mad about it.
I've gotten better at my hand jobs for sure. I feel like I was not great at those back in the day because I didn't understand it. I didn't understand a penis.
Yeah.
I just thought it was just like.
You got to really understand yes, it's like this, but you have to understand why it's like this and how each little fold is its own piece of friction.
Little part, right?
Yeah, you have to understand
sensitive parts.
Yeah, and once you understand the anatomy of the cock and how everything's moving and the effect the movements have, then you're like, now I can play around a lot.
Yeah.
Then you know you can pull real down and get it taut and then do the thing on the top like this. Yeah. You know, but you have to understand why that feels good.
But I mean, a hand job.
If anybody wants to study on me, just shoot me an email.
I was gonna say but I can never beat the guy because I feel like the guys are always better at giving a hand job to themselves. Do you think? Is that my theory wrong?
I think everybody's real individual, but I like to,
no one could give you a better hand job than you give yourself, I'm sure. Because
I've had some massage therapists who did quite well.
Oh, wow.
But, I like her sitting on my face while I jerk off is really nice.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, because I've got activity up here. She's getting pleasure. I also get to know this isn't a purely for me situation, and I am giving myself that really good hand job that I know how to give myself.
Yeah. What's your favorite position in bed?
I don't know, but we did something a couple nights ago, and literally right before I got in the Uber to come here, where she was on top, she was riding me. Oh God, I think I can say this. I'll keep it clean. She was on top, but it was the thing where she leans back, so she's got to she's propping herself up on her hands behind. And so she's kind of like this, and she's doing this hip.
Oh, I know what you mean.
This could be a great clip for you.
It's right. It's all in the hips.
But it's
I've
also
done that too.
Yeah, but it's also me.
But then you have to hold.
I'm grabbing her thighs, and I'm almost guiding the rhythm of it.
I've done that before.
So she gets. I think I was massaging her cervix with my cock. It was great.
No,
it felt like I was in a new depth. It felt like I was floating in space, like George Clooney in Gravity. And it was just this is right.
You're
wherever
this
I am.
Is fun.
This is dope. So yeah. Her back like this, me go. I think my favorite position, I think, just depends on the dimensions of the other person, because you can do different things depending on all the body dimensions involved.
If someone has a bigger ass than the other.
Oh yeah, I dated someone who she's a very she's she calls herself a fat activist. She's a plus size model. We dated for a while, but there was a thing where she has so much ass, my dick is not massive, so certain positions would be difficult because by the time I get through all the ass, it's hard for me to then get in and get in any deep. So you have to play around with angles to get deep. But you know what? My favorite adjustment. So basically, look, all the positions are kind of the same. It's about making adjustments on them. So my favorite adjustment was in doggy style. If you have a dick, listen up. Doggy style should not be on 2 knees. You want to be up on 1 knee. Like a Captain Morgan situation. Your entire range of motion completely changes. You can get deeper. You're not stopped.
Yeah,
it's
more
just
grip. It feels like more of a.
You can wind up. You can do an ass slap like really well because your whole body's opened up to camera in a way, right? As opposed to if you're on two knees in doggy style, you're like an uncle who's bad at dancing at a wedding. He's like he's trying to get it in here, but you can't really wind up because the ass is right here.
Right. Yeah. You're like limited. That's very true.
Getting up on one knee changed my entire sexual life.
With like no matter how big or small the ass is.
I've even done one knee in like missionary, so to speak, where like she's on her back and like I'm not parallel on top of her, but I'm kind of like up here. And then I'll be on one knee and I can basically do like a doggy-ish motion, but with her legs up like this. And again, I'm getting deeper when I do that.
Right. I love.
This is a free podcast.
This is free podcast.
You got this for free.
All this shit for free.
For free.
From a professional.
You have a Patreon?
Oh, no, not
what?
anymore.
Oh.
No, it was just,
Venmo Steph at least.
I need it.
Buy a mug.
Buy a mug.
I see some mugs.
Yeah. Buy a t-shirt or just Venmo me. What was I gonna say? My position is honestly like just missionary, and my legs just literally like back over to my shoulders. Like I just love that. Doggy style is fun, but I get tired, even though it's like.
Are you like keeping yourself up like a push-up or?
It depends. I kind of like switch around.
Let yourself relax, get in like a little puppy pose. Where
puppy
like
pose.
Well, do you do yoga? You're in LA. I just assume.
Yeah.
Or it's just like you're not holding yourself up. You're just letting yourself like bend, like melt into the bed.
I've gotten better. It's just that like I feel like I get bored, so sometimes I just have to add a vibrator to make it like more interesting.
That's great. Yeah.
Because I'm just like sometimes I'm like. It doesn't feel. It's not that it feels bad, and this is just like universally with all the guys that I've ever done doggy style with. I've just noticed it's just like I feel like it's more for him.
Really? Because I feel like I've had a lot of women tell me they love doggy because there's the guy's able to get in deeper, and depending on the angle, the penis is actually kind of rubbing against the G spot. Depending on how they're coming down.
Yeah.
So they're able to get deep and they're able to rub it against that kind of spongy tissue on the upper side of the vagina.
That doesn't always happen to me. I mean, I do feel sexier because I do like doing the arch, It's like you like to like show that so you feel good. But no, I always have to like add a little vibrator or something because I don't feel like, it doesn't feel bad. It's just like I get bored, so I need some extra stimulation.
Yeah.
Maybe it's my ADHD.
Well, I love when a chick brings a vibrator in because one, I know, we got a guaranteed win coming along. It's like when like a football team signs, I don't know, Aaron Rodgers before he injures himself on the 4th play of the season. It's like when a team signs like a major talent, you're like, oh, we're gonna be good now.
Oh, we're good.
It's like when she brings the Hitachi in, I'm like, oh, thank God we signed this guy.
Yeah. Oh, that's good that you love when they do that because I hate when men are like, ooh.
Particularly again, like if I'm in missionary, sure, if I come close up on you, I can make the pelvis do some friction. But if I'm gonna be kind of up and holding up your legs and pounding that way, there's no friction really against the clit. So it's nice when sometimes I'll
love
go
it even
in.
A missionary too. Yeah, just leave it there or something. Or
she can hold it down there. Or because even if there's no vibrator, sometimes I'll take a thumb and stroke the clit while I fuck her.
That's how literally because and I don't know why it's so simple, right? And I don't know why people are so scared to like do this. Or I honestly feel like I don't know. Not a lot of people, at least I know of, like do this. Like the missionary with the fucking vibrator, even vibrator during sex. Yeah. It's just like the most phenomenal thing and experience ever. Like I always love having a vibrator with me, but some guys are intimidated by that. Yeah,
well, I think guys can't. They don't have their egos are telling them like me and my dick need to get the guys who don't eat pussy and aren't good at fingering will be like me and this penis that can't bend in any direction. Yes, this is what's gonna do it. No, like your dick is not the fucking end all be all of sex and pleasure.
And it's like your dick feels phenomenal, but why not add an extra layer and topping to the fucking cake?
Yeah.
You know
I did I think a few weeks ago I was inside her. And then I also slipped in 2 fingers on the upper side of my shaft. So I was both fingering her and fucking her.
Whoa.
I've never done that before, but that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's fun. I want to try that. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to have him try that.
I mean, I don't know how loose you are, but you know, it's if you can make it all fit, then great.
I don't know how loose I am too. Like, I don't know how can you tell?
Well, my dick's not too girthy. Like, I mean, like it's got girth. It's not. Well, let me backtrack. My dick's not so large that these like meaty fingers I got couldn't slip in, and you know, if you're wet enough lube, you make magic happen.
I don't like extremely big cocks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna say that. Period. I just don't like big cocks. And you know what? I appreciate every penis.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that for me specifically, one, it's already hard for me to give head to just anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I have a small mouth. It takes a little extra work. So if you have a big thing, you're never getting head.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to be a bunch of tongue, which is fine. But, you know, I want to do more. And as far as like penetration, what I've experienced in the past when they would have really big things is that like I can't last. Like it hurts.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Especially if the guy doesn't know how to wield it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So
with great power comes great responsibility, big dick havers.
Exactly.
Talk to some women and ask, hey, I have a huge schlong. I'm not trying to use it on you, but like any tips on how I can
make you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thankfully, I was always really drunk, so that kind of helped. But that's not good.
God
but that's not like good though.
Oh, God stuff.
But that's not like a tip. You know?
I mean, I think a lot of guys are intimidated to not look like they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
Right. So they could just solve the problem by asking, hey, what feels good for you? Or, hey, like that hurt. It looks like that hurts. What would make it not hurt? Or what else could we do? But like I had a guy who paid me money because he wanted me to walk him through the layout of the sex party that I go to, like the geography of that the venue. He's like, what's the like all the different rooms and spaces and what are the rules? Like he wanted me to he paid me to talk to him for an hour, just filling him in on how that play party was set up because he wanted to take a date there for the first time, but he wanted to seem like I know how this place is. I know how it goes.
Right. Like
he didn't have the humility to not know things. And like, it's okay to not know things.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. That was a good tip.
We try.
Yeah. Oh, well, already in an hour. What the fuck? Well, I wanted to quickly talk about your comedy.
Okay.
Because you do stand-up comedy naked.
I also do, most of the time I do it clothed. Okay. Like I just want to make sure everyone knows, like, I don't only do naked comedy. Sometimes I get worried that other comics are like, I'd book him, but you know, he has to wear his pants. I guess I can't have. No. I will do your show.
It's like, are you literally penis out, everything out?
Yes. So I run a monthly naked comedy show in New York City.
I love that.
Once a month. We've been doing that for about a year and a half. Really fun. I do it in an orgy basement in Bushwick because, of course, I do. And yes, it's
very on brand.
Yes, the comedians are naked. I mean, I'm not like I'm not demanding about what they wear on their feet. We're naked from the ankles up. Okay. I'm not like a Nazi about the shoe wear. You know, you wear what makes you feel safe on the floor. But yeah, so we do it naked. It's clothing optional in the audience. So if the audience wants to undress partially or fully, they can do that as well.
So everyone could just be naked if they wanted to.
If they'd like to, yeah.
Yeah.
We limit it to the first 2 rows, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have body dysmorphia, so that sounds so scary, but I like love and appreciate.
Yeah.
Like, how did you ever just... Because, I mean, that's a nightmare, right? People have nightmares about, like, going on stage and being like, oh my God, I forgot my clothes. Mm-hmm. And you like actually live that. I don't even want to call it a nightmare because, you know, it's not. But like, what was that first time like? And how did you get over that hump of not shame, but just, you know.
Yeah. So, well, like
comfortable up there.
The first time I did naked stand-up, I was 20 in college.
Okay.
There's another guy, Andy O'Feish. He's been running a naked comedy show for like 20 years up in like the Boston area. But he would run a monthly one in New York. And I had a friend who did it, and I saw that, and I was like, oh, interesting. And I wasn't getting booked a lot because I was new, I was young, I wasn't funny. So it was, you know, when you're young, when you're a newer comic, there's these things called bringer shows where you have to like bring X number of audience members who pay money.
Yeah, my friend's like a new comic, and he always has to bring like...
Tell him to stop doing that. Tell him if he can bring 10 people to anything, he should just run his own show at a bar. Tell him to find a bar and run a show and he creates his own stage time. He can do as much time as he wants. He can book funnier comics. Bringer shows are so not fucking necessary.
Okay.
Because every time they're like, yeah, I got to find 7 people. I was like, if you have 7 people, there are comedy shows that happen that don't have 7 people at them. So if you have 7 on your own,
it's crazy.
You're already there.
Usually it's never just like 1 or 2 people. It's literally you have to bring 5, 7, sometimes 10. Yeah. That's insane.
And that's already, if you like, depending on the room you find, that can be an audience,
and you actually make money off of it.
Yeah, and you might actually find more people outside of that, but whatever. So,
it is,
but I was young, and so it was like, oh, I don't have to bring anybody. I don't have to bark on the street. I just have to take my clothes off. And I had already done a couple things, like I'd been to a failed gangbang at that point, so I'd been naked in front of some people.
How was it? A failed gangbang? What happened? Why did it fail?
The chick never showed up.
Oh, dang.
It's like a bad gay porno.
And then everyone was just like naked there being like, guess she's not coming.
Quick side, I'll go through the quick side story of this. No, it's fine. It's fine. I love the story. Yeah. It was a Craigslist ad, and this woman, she wanted, she had this fantasy where she wanted to walk in on her sons watching porn. Jerking off. And then she wanted to punish us all by sending us to the bedroom and making us have sex with her. Right?
Dang.
So I go to this like apartment in Chelsea. Like one of the guys would be hosting it. And he like left the door unlocked to the apartment. Like we saw it jarred open.
Yeah.
In theory, anyone could have walked in.
Right.
But like, I was 20 years old. No, this was my sophomore year. So I was like 19.
Were you scared?
Very. But I texted my friend Katie, my best friend Katie at the time, and I was like, here's the address. Here's like a phone number. So if I die, like this is who did it.
Right.
Which like started this trend over many years where she would get random text messages. I wouldn't tell her what I was doing, but she knew I was doing some slutty shit from Craigslist. And if I don't call her by the morning, like, call the cops and give them this info.
Yeah.
So I go to the alleged gangbang, and I'm 19. I've never seen other naked men before, because even when I played sports in high school, like everyone was pretty insular. We didn't have group showers,
right?
So I didn't like see like I'm not used to male nudity, let alone jerking off with another guy. I wasn't that cool in high school.
Have you ever hooked up with a guy?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious.
Yeah, that's all right. I was in a 3-way kiss once that like I didn't realize I got roped into because I thought we were gonna make out.
Oh, and then another guy came in.
And then she invited this other guy, and I was like, okay, I'll try this. But I was like, yeah, I didn't very much enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I want to make out with you. Heather, So I get up there, and we're eventually he's like, he puts the porn on the TV, and we sit on the couch and we just start trying to masturbate in our various spots in the living room. And I'm like I'm not doing very well at this jerking off in front of men thing. Like I'm not hard most of the time. It's like very wet noodly. A couple times I get like a little bit hard. Noodly. Yeah. Like I got some blood flow going like a couple times, but most of the time I'm not very erect, but I'm like, whatever, she'll get here. And just time passed. And this is pre-iPhones. This is like 2008 or 9.
Yeah.
So we didn't. And so it's like, when is she looking? He's checking his BlackBerry. Remember BlackBerries?
Oh, I had a BlackBerry too.
No, because no one had the phone number. It's only through email. And then eventually, after about like an hour, I kind of threw in the towel or sock or whatever. Yeah. And I just like, hey guys, I think I'm good. I think I'm going to go. I don't think she's coming.
Like, I don't think she's showing up.
Yeah, so I went to the bathroom. I finished because I'm not a monster.
Right.
I wasn't going to do that to myself. I was going to come.
You're like, I'm going to, yeah.
Yeah, and then I left, and those guys just kept jerking off. And that was the first time I saw other dudes'
And whose
dicks.
apartment was this?
One of the dudes who was part of it. Or it was the guy who scammed us all. Don't know.
Oh my God. Wait, did you have to pay for this?
No. And she sent us all this email being like, oh, guys, sorry, that something happened with my husband, and I couldn't make him. And again, we didn't have the, whatever. So I'd already been naked. I think I'd already seen like a couple fuck. Like I got invited to go to their apartment and like watch them have sex.
Oh my God.
So I'd done some stuff. But again, mostly it was, this is free stage time. So I can just go take my pants off. The guy said, if you're willing to get naked and you don't suck, I'll book you. So I do it. And then I did it again in front of the woman I lost my virginity to. And
she was there?
Yeah, I bombed my face off.
Oh my gosh.
I got a text when I got off stage. It said, I didn't know you were going to actually be naked. Says the Naked Comedy Show. She said, I thought you meant like raw and uncensored.
Like, no.
But yeah, so it's like after the first like 90 seconds, you kind of forget that you're naked. And the audience kind of forgets too. You can't coast on nudity. You come out, they go, oh my God, the new naked body. And then it's, do you have jokes? You still have to have jokes. You know, I think Chris Rock will talk about, yeah, you know, when I go work on stuff, you know, the first 10 minutes they're laughing because, oh my God, it's Chris Rock. And then after that is, did Chris Rock bring some jokes tonight? So you can't just coast. And then also with the Naked Comedy Show I do in Brooklyn, I book really good comics. I really don't, you know, I love Andy and what he did, and I love that he gave, you know, would put me up, but I wouldn't put me up the way he did. I have like one spot if, like for like a younger comic who like a newer comic, maybe doing a short set, unpaid, but like I'm booked, like I pay, and I think I pay pretty well for an 8-10 minute set. And I am booking comics from Comedy Central, from Netflix, HBO, NBC. I've had guys from like Wild 'N Out, America's Got Talent. I'm booking all different genders, body types, races, or, you know, orientation. I book different. I'm booking a really good show that if we weren't naked, it would still be a great show.
Right.
So I think that helps like keep the integrity of what we do every month over there. And I think that's why it's been
off of like a naked body, but really just
because you can't. I don't think I could coast on that as successfully, and that's why I think the show is so successful. We sold out 20 of 32 shows. It's a 75 seat venue. You know, it's like it's a really good show. It's a fun time. I always try to make sure I'm like the least funny comic on the lineup, because then I know it's a great show.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I want to go to this. I need to
do
do another trip to New York.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to go. But yeah, do you ever do this is just a sidebar, because my friend is a new comic, and he's been in like classes before, and this is how he got started to like teach him how to write it. You just rolled your eyes.
I don't know. You could save a lot of money and just go to a lot of open mics, and you'll figure out
how. And like teach. Yeah. I was gonna say, do you teach?
I don't think stand-up is a thing you have to pay money for a class for. Improv, I think you do. But like stand-up, you just go to a lot of open mics, which is free to very inexpensive.
Study the art.
Not even study, just go and you do it, and you learn by doing it and writing and rewriting. As long as you know to like do the rewrite and not just bang your head against the wall. Like, and also listen to a lot of stand-up comedy. You know, I've always been a comedy nerd since I was a young kid. So I had an idea of how you could structure a joke, the different ways you could do a joke. You know, if you have one quote unquote joke, 5 different professional comedians could probably do that joke, and it will sound a little different for each one. But like, yeah, there's like way to like structure a joke, how to do setups, punchlines, tags. You'll learn the types of topics you can and can't do. It's not just about like how to write a joke. It's about like how to write the right jokes. I remember I would do jokes in college about like being fat, and I would call myself fat, but I wasn't fat. And it's not that it was good or bad to be fat. It's just, it was confusing the audience, because I'd be like, I'm fat, and then do this. But as like, because I was feeling insecure about my body, I was objectively not like heavy. So I would say that I'd start that with a premise, and the audience just sitting there being confused, because like, it'd be like if I went on stage and said like, yeah, so, you know, life's tough as a black man, and just did jokes like, that might be good jokes for a black man to do. But if I'm not black, they're like confused. They're like, but you're not the thing you said you were in the premise. Right. So it's, but you just go up on stage a lot. Just go do a lot of open mics. Go be bad at comedy for a while. And then you'll get
scary.
better at it.
I give it up to comics. Like, I'd rather go up there and sing. Well, maybe because I like to sing.
There are some comics who do that.
Yeah.
It's a little weird. Some of them make it work.
Yeah. I don't think I would do
I'm having my first musical comic on the Naked Show next week.
You are?
Yeah.
I wish I could come.
They do a guitar. They bring a guitar on stage. So I was like, okay, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. But yeah.
Oh, that's so much fun. I love that. I need to go to New York and hang out with you and go to your Naked Comedy show.
Next Naked Comedy shows. I mean, I don't know when this comes out, but August 22nd is the August show. Yeah. We do 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock shows. It's
do you ever
BYOB.
do any like virtual, like if someone isn't in New York and they could?
No, I would never. I don't think I would trust that.
Okay.
We have a strict no phones out policy.
Oh, I see.
Once the lights go down.
Also, it's like they're naked, so
right.
There's
a lot of. I mean, yeah. There's some censorship issues. There's some community guidelines issues.
Right.
But there's also the comedian's privacy. I think part of the reason I do have comics who are comfortable, because so many ask, well, what about phones? And I'm always like, I have a person at the show whose entire job, the whole show, is to just watch the audience looking for LED screens. Because we tell them you can't take it out for any reason. So you can't check the time. You can't go do a text. It's not no cameras. It's you can't take the phone out.
Right.
The show's like 75 minutes. You don't need to.
Right.
Or you can go upstairs.
You could disconnect from the world for a second.
Yeah, but I have someone whose entire job is to look out for phones being out. So no phones out once the lights go down. And then we have a real good, fun, naked time.
Oh my God.
I even do a segment at the show, when time's allowing, I do a segment where I will invite the audience on stage. I'll say, if anybody in the audience wants to come on stage, try taking their clothes off and telling a joke. If you don't have a joke, I can give you a joke.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'll get like 4 or 5 volunteers. We'll have like a mini naked audience member comedy contest.
I feel like I need to go for like therapy reasons, like to get over some sort of body dysmorphia.
I've had people in the audience do that. Sometimes I will, when I'm doing crowd work, I'll say, "Oh, what brought you out?" And some people, I had a guy say, "I recently lost 80 pounds. And my body's a little different, it's like it's smaller, but he's got, some folds or whatever." And he wanted to challenge himself to be comfortable sitting out there with his shirt off. I forget if he was naked or just his shirt off, but like I get a lot of people who say, "This is me trying to learn to be free. This is me trying to learn how to like be okay with my body in public." Even the comedians, I've had comics say, "I want to do a show because I want to I have body image issues and I want to challenge that." Yeah.
Did you ever have body issues?
Oh, all the time. I still do.
You still do?
I'm like the heaviest I think I've ever been.
And you are okay with,
I've done it a lot. Like it's whatever. Because when I'm up there, granted, I don't always love when I'm watching the tape and I go, I need to be working out again. But it's whatever. Like my goal up there isn't to be hot. It's to... granted, I can be, apparently I'm heavy and hot is what some people tell me, but I'm up there trying to be funny. So, I'm more focused on that. If I bomb, I'm less happy about it. But
right.
If I'm going to bomb, it's like, well, I better be thin while I bomb. No, I have plenty of body image issues. I've struggled with disordered eating since high school and for a long time. And, I work on it. I have better months than others.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm not exactly in those better months, but I'll get there again soon.
Yeah, it
helps having a lady who keeps telling me how she uses words like pretty and beautiful. Like she doesn't be like, "You're so handsome, you're a hunk." No, she'll be like, sometimes she'll say I'm beefy, and sometimes she'll say like, "You're so pretty, baby."
That's
and it makes me want to fucking cry while I'm inside her.
Ever cried during sex?
100%.
Me too.
100%.
Why did you cry?
Because I love her so much. Like whoever it was, there's been it's happened more than once.
Yeah.
And it's usually just been because I feel so safe and I feel so in love with who I'm with right now.
I think I cried because they didn't love me.
That's a less fun reason.
Yeah.
Jesus, Steph.
I know that was like the 20-something-year-old me. Now I wouldn't I'm more.
You're like,
sure
I only cry afterwards when I go to the bathroom. I cry then.
Right. Yeah, I cry on the podcast, but I'm not gonna cry in bed.
Yeah. No. So with the naked stuff, it's like it's comedy and also it's a fun crowd. It's packed out. It's always like 50, 70 people there. Yeah. So it's fun. I'm going out. It's a good time, and it does help me distract me from I feel like this is more of a boob than a peck, or I feel like my belly's a little bigger than usual. And the only thing I do get weird about is my dick's not small, it's just, but my balls are really big. So it creates this optical illusion where I have to be like, the dick is bigger than it looks right now.
Right. You have to explain.
It's like when you put the Statue of Liberty next to the Empire State Building, they are both big. One just looks small when next to the other one.
Right. It's all about perception.
It's all about perception. And sometimes, because my thighs are also kind of big, sometimes I gotta lift the sack and pull them out from between the thighs.
Shout out to big balls.
Shout out to big balls. So yeah, it is interesting because when you adjust yourself, it's like you're more aware of it.
Right. I was gonna say because you can't just it. Yeah.
But sometimes I gotta move that skin.
Right. I was gonna say because what if your thigh's sweating a little bit, it gets stuck on your thigh?
Or if you're doing an act out and you move stuff jiggles in a way, you're not aware of it when you're clothed, but when you're naked, you're like, oh, I've had comics with very large breasts go wow, this hits different now that they're out.
No, literally, because I have big boobs, so my boobs would just be flopping everywhere.
Yeah.
which I don't mind when it's just me, but when it's in front of everyone, I'm like,
Well, I have one friend who's done the show like 5-6 times, and then she just got a breast reduction last month.
Oh.
So she did the show in like May. It was like the titty farewell show.
oh my God, that's cute.
And I'm looking forward to
her.
having her back when she like feels ready again to present the new girls.
Yeah. Love that. And as a woman, it's like, I mean, are they shaved down there? I guess it doesn't matter.
Some shave, some don't.
not,
I mean, some do all, when someone's on their period, it's like you handle it how you got to handle it. You do what you got to do.
Your period. I'm canceling if I'm on my period. I'm not even.
I'm
not even leaving the house if I'm on my period.
We've had some chicks with the string hanging.
I love that.
Yep.
Oh, more power to them.
Although there was one woman who is like one of the earlier shows we did. She's on her period. she's backstage, and she has her tampon in. And she says, I think I'm gonna do like a little bit about being on my period. I think I'm gonna do like a tampon string reveal. Right? I was like, okay, whatever. So I watch her. She tucks the string up into herself.
Yeah.
And then I go on stage to bring her up. Comes on stage. She had like a line or something about being on her period and reaches in to reveal the string, but then couldn't find the string. Yeah,
sometimes that should be
so then she
in there.
Turned her full back around, rummaged around her pussy, still didn't find the string, and then she just had to do 10 minutes.
That's hilarious.
And she did great. But it was a funny moment. We also had a dude pull a tiny set list out of his foreskin.
Wait, I really need to come to this show. If you guys are in New York, you need to go to the show for me.
August 22nd, everybody. There's probably a link in my bio.
Yeah, I love that. Well, time is up,
Yep.
and I wish I could talk to you forever. You need to come back next time you're in
Love
LA,
to.
and next time I'm in New York, come to my hotel room like last time.
Hey, everybody. Hey.
Where can people find you? Where can they listen to your everywhere, right? Listen to your podcast.
Yeah, you can find the Manwhore Podcast, Sex Positive Conversations. If the Manwhore Podcast puts you off, then just pretend it's called Sex Positive Conversations, because that's what we're doing, babies. We're having connected conversations about sex, dating, gender, love, occasionally butt stuff, and it's a good time. So yeah, Manwhore Podcast, wherever you're listening to Broke Girl Therapy right now.
Literally, it's probably the same thing, because I mean, like we said, we have so much in common that it's just a New York Italian man version of me.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then
you like Broke Girl Therapy, you'll like Manwhore.
I agree. That's why we're here, babies.
That's why we're here.
And then I'm on TikTok at the Billy Procida. I'm on Instagram at Billy is Procida. That's Procida. Or you can just go to manwhorepod.com to find all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll have everything linked below.
Yeah. And again, August 22nd for a Naked Comedy Show.
Yes. And then you guys follow me, Stefanie Maegan, or go to BrokeGirlTherapy.com. All that shit is there. Love y'all. Bye. Go get naked and go to the Naked Comedy Show.
Get naked. Get naked. It's a Britney Spears song.
Broke Girl Therapy.